Hello, I'm Geoff.
And I'm Patrick.
And that was Bella. She's gone again. Now. Are you still down there? Are you coming back up? No, she's not. No. Oh, there we go. Yay. Hello, Belle.
Hello. We got no Ross today. As he said, he was on his 3D printer convention.
Yeah.
Which I hope goes well for it.
Yeah, I wonder what that... I can't imagine what one of them's like, somehow. Because I think the problem I always think of is I think of 3D printers from just being for making toys.
Yeah.
But obviously lots of people at these conventions, that's the last thing they think about doing with
it.
You know what I mean?
Like I can only think of it as like with a miniature mindset on.
Yeah.
Like loads of plumbers turn up being like, oh, I could really 3D print some.
Yeah, well, I
some
said
cool
that to you. I said that to you last week, didn't I? That one of my clients was saying that. He said the plumber turned home and said, "Oh, I'm going to have to order this part in."
Yeah.
And then he said before to be able to finish your work, and then went, "Oh, hang on a minute, have you got a 3D printer?" And unfortunately, my customer Ben, lovely chap, Ben went, "Oh no, I haven't even." Oh, he said, "That's a shame." He said, "Could have just asked you to print it and had to come back and fix it later."
Yeah,
I think, but you forget that they are used for such a vast amount of things within the industry. All I'm just like is, "Oh, can it make cool orcs?
Yeah,
can it do scenery?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, what did you say? A series with small walls.
Yeah, you think it's a completely vast thing to the point that now don't they build them big enough that they can bloody print houses and stuff?
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, can it do some rocks for a base for a 32mm?
Yeah, because you get like the FDM style printers.
Yeah,
but instead of filament, they just run like cement. Sand mixtures and stuff through it, and they just print
bananas,
houses.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. When they talk about 3D printers, they are like, to me, like 22nd century technology. We shouldn't be there with them yet. I think.
Yeah.
But you think, especially because Ross has obviously massively invested in them and knows them down to the minute detail of what they do compared to each other, because that's part of his job with his channel. But to me, I'm just like, oh, can they print rocks?
And
I feel like maybe I don't give them enough.
No,
enough credit.
We have our 3D printer, and every time I print out like like a shoulder pad, or usually it's a selection or some scenery bits.
Yeah.
Like it is like a great use of it, but it feels like you've got an Aston Martin or a Ferrari, and you're like, I'll go to Tesco, but not big Tesco. I'll just go to the local one.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah,
it's just really overusing it.
Yeah, but they are. So things to talk about this week. I thought because there seems to have been a bit of a shift. We released a video, nearly a year ago, where we talked. Well, not we. It was Chris built quite a high-end Gundam model.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm now saying Gundam.
Yes.
Quite quickly.
We've been told.
Because I'm not hugely confident in my pronunciation still.
I even misspelt it on purpose. So when I read out the topic,
apparently Gundam.
Gundam
isn't the right way to say it.
Oh, we've got Gunpla. You can say Gunpla as well, can't you? Yeah.
See, it's a bit of an unknown world to me. But anyway, they seem to be. It's been a real influx of people chatting about a video that's nearly a year old. So we thought we would maybe slightly do a revisionist on what we know about them. Really thought might be a bit of a thing. A little bit of a chat about Games Workshop's Christmas boxes.
Yes, they've gone on sale now, haven't they?
They have indeed gone on sale. Yeah,
that is certainly quite interesting. I got to go to the Mass Effect board game launch last week. Yeah, so that was quite fun.
Down in London.
Yes, down in the Big Smoke.
That there, London.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm quite jealous that I don't get much opportunity to visit London, but I do like being down there whenever I get the chance. So, anything else you want to chat about?
I always love London.
Yeah.
Side note.
Yeah. I love being there.
The Big Ben renovations, like now it's all been redone and uncovered.
Oh, I haven't seen it since it's been done.
It's amazing.
Is it really nice?
Yeah,
done a good job of it.
It's so unbelievably shiny. Like in my head, like growing up and seeing Big Ben on the TV and whatever, and seeing it in person a couple of times, it's just ingrained that that's how it looks.
Yeah.
And then now that it's all been redone, you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look.
With like 80 years of grime has been scrubbed off it.
Yeah. Like they absolutely went to town and they did an incredible job. Yeah. And like they let the streaking grime really set. And then just...
You had 140 foot tall cotton wool butts.
Yeah. And then
just Londoners just kept falling over, fainting from the smell of the from the fellas smell of the white spirits.
Yeah. And then
we got another fainter.
Yeah, somebody walking over Westminster Bridge. It actually works better if you use a massive makeup sponge. But yeah, I don't visit London very often. But I always like to try and go like once a year. And
I do like being down. It still exists. I do like being down. In fact, I haven't been down there since, and I didn't see much of it that day. I think the last time I was down there was for last year. Was for Salute, I think.
Yeah.
So I maybe try. I would maybe try and get to Salute next year. I think I might go and have a bit of a concerted effort to go down there and have a little bit of a hangout. I think maybe would be cool.
Absolutely. I had fun. What did I do? I had a fun weekend as well. Shooting. Geoff was. Oh, look at that camera. Geoff was showing me some videos of a very nice Liverpudlian man bending someone's arm backwards in a UFC ring. And I was at a wedding over the weekend, and Anthony Joshua turned up. And loads of heavyweight boxers, because apparently they're all in this family, and me and this other chap that I was working with were just like, oh my God. That's insane.
Just enormously big, tough-looking men just wandering around, being friendly.
He's built like an absolute tank.
Yeah,
it's insane.
They are enormous,
but they all seem very lovely, considering they punch each other in the face
for a living.
Yeah, but yeah, watching that UFC thing. As a complete aside, I've never really gotten into fighting and watching fighting. Like, what's the appeal? Like, like football. I get you have your team and you want it to win, and I'm like, right, okay, fine. Like, what do you follow? Like,
well, I think for me, I've never been hugely a boxing fan. I've never really been. It's never really been my thing, and I think the thing as well. I think sometimes it's quite interesting about boxing as well is that people don't realise that. I think it's more tactical than people give it credit for, because we used to have, he's since retired, we used to have a fighter in he still lives in Nottingham, a guy called Carl Froch, who was a very successful boxer
I've
for a
heard
while.
Of him,
and I remember watching a fight with him against, I think it was a Canadian chap, and they both went at it desperately, with like from the out were trying to knock each other out.
Oh right.
And then but Carl then, I think, which was quite interesting, was the clever of the two, where he quickly realised he thought this isn't going to work, and changed the boxing, and then just started trying to box for points.
Oh right,
for hitting the guy in the correct in the areas that will accrue points. And I thought, so there is, I think there is a tactic to it. I think it's a quite a clever sport, but I think it's a sport that's very much based on a high level of blooming stamina.
Yeah.
Because even if you just have a scuffle with somebody in the street that could be a minute long. Your muscles pushing against a human being whose muscles are pushing back. It's a massively stamina draining thing. It's like when you watch films and they have like 5-minute punch-ups and you go, you really wouldn't, because you'd be knackered.
Yes, yeah. I'm eager to know, viewers, if you're watching, like if you like fighting or boxing, UFC, whatever, get in the comments and tell me why. Because I feel like it's such a massive thing.
Yeah, I'm more of a UFC man.
Completely missed me. Or I've completely missed it, and I'm kind of like, where do you even start? Like, I'm like, yes, if someone asks me about football, I say I like the blue ones because they do the best kicks. Like,
well, the problem with Arsenal is they just walking in. IT crowd reference.
Yeah, I love it. Completely random.
I remember. And I do get it, because I think on the surface it can look like my cousin-in-law Graham doesn't like UFC, and he always makes the remark. He says, if I want to see UFC, I'll stand in a pub car park at about 11:30. Right? But I think UFC is actually, it's quite you can't. It's a sport that has a number of different ways of achieving your goal, and I think you can't ever just be good at one bit. You've got to either be really exceptional in all of it, you know, punching, kicking, elbows, and then be able to go to the ground and work out what is basically blooming, as we were talking about before, it's like blooming geometry, trying to work out where to bend an arm and where to grab hold of a person to this and that. But I think, you know, you've got to have you've got to be able to do at least all of it to a reasonably competent level, or do one bit exceptionally well, but still be able to, you know, because they'll say with some fighters, they'll go, oh, you know, they're really good, but their groundwork's not great, you know. And so these guys are going, I've got to try and keep this other guy on his feet, stop him trying to take me to the ground and score up as much as I can or go for a knockout. And then the other guys who go, let him take me to the ground because I know that I'll probably get out of whatever he does and I'll end up winning by getting down there, you know. So it's a really interesting, but the problem being, I think, with especially things like UFC, I think it's really brutal, and you've really got to. It's either if you don't have. If you don't like the idea of seeing people taking chunks out of each other, it's a sport that's a hard sport. I think it's a hard sport to win you round. If you generally don't like the idea of human beings beating each other up, you can't win. You can't just slowly win your way around.
No, that's it. I think
it's like going, I don't like tennis or I don't like cricket. But, you know, you think maybe if I was subjected to enough of it, I'll eventually win me round. But if you have it inbuilt in you that it really upsets me when I see somebody being punched in the face, you're not really going to win yourself round to UFC.
Probably not.
Unless, you know, if they did it with like them big, maybe, you know, wearing like them big sponge fingers from other sports.
Yes.
If you're doing that, maybe.
Yeah.
Or a right poke in the eye. The sponge finger.
It'd be like UFC for comic relief.
Yeah.
Like that I could probably get into watching.
I have to get, one fighter has to get the other one down to the floor and then on his clown nose. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be well keen. I'll be well keen.
Yeah, but so nice though. It's interesting to see sportsmen like that in the flesh.
Yeah,
especially when you know. Because I've had the opposite end of that. Is the fact that I over the last weekend went to see Everton ladies versus Liverpool ladies at Goodison Park in Liverpool, in Merseyside. So, and I went because it's the last time I will ever get a chance to be in that stadium because it's my football team. So we went to see them play, and it's really bizarre because when both teams run out onto the pitch, because you know they're athletic women, they're not potentially particularly massive. And there was a lady who plays for Everton, and she's Japanese. And my wife said, she looks really, really short. And I was like, I think you're right. She does look really, they all looked from a distance from where we were sitting. No one, other than a couple of players, no one looked over about 12. Right? And this Japanese player called Hayashi, she was 5'2", which put her out 1 inch taller than my 10-year-old. Which was like, and then we had a Belgian player, a defender, who on the other side of that, we went, God, she looks really tall, and she's like only a centimetre shorter than me, and I'm banging on the door of 6'2".
Oh, crikey!
And he thought, what a wide range of sizes within it, you know. But so it was quite interesting to see people being, you know, good at sport at that side, but at the same point, probably this Belgian defender was probably the oldest person on the team, and she was 32. But you think, you know, it's when you look at people coming out and you go, especially when you're getting on a bit as I am, you go, God, people in sport are really young or really small or whatever, you know, how fit they are. Yeah, but so that was quite the other side of that, which is quite funny, is that my wife supports Liverpool. Yeah. But I said, when she said, I'll get you this for a birthday present, and I said,
because you're an Everton.
I'm an Everton fan. I said, you do know that you're not going to be able to shout if Liverpool score.
Yeah.
And she went, oh, I never thought of that. And then she went, oh, I should have got tickets for the away end. And I went, well, then that's not fair on me. It's my birthday. You know, then I can't shout, you know. And I asked for tickets in a bit of the ground called Gwada Street. And Gladys Street End is, I think, you have to psychologically evaluate yourself. If you were like maybe getting a season ticket, and you're going, well, where do I want a season ticket? Where do I want a seat for when I'm getting a season ticket? You go, am I a massive gobshite? I am a massive gobshite, so I'll probably need to sit in the Gladys Street End.
It's okay, so that's how that works.
At one point in time, someone shout, you think, and it's a bit naughty because there is children in that end, and also it's the women's football is not as antagonistic with regards to fans as the male football, where everyone's it's a little bit easy going and more family. Like if you looked around, there was people in red hats and scarves and stuff sat in amongst people wearing blue. So, so it was a little bit more easy going, And Liverpool fans are often known as Copites because they have one of their area in their ground is called the Cop.
Yeah.
And someone shouted, is a chant, someone shouted, all Copites are gobshites. Oh no, Copites are gobshites, somebody shouted, and then there is a following line that comes up, which was replied of every fucking one of them. My wife looked at me and went, it's been out of order. So we both had a bit of a weekend of sport, haven't we?
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, should we drag this back around to something?
That's it. I mean, like I've never really gotten into massive spectator sports. I much prefer sitting in a room on my own, most likely, which is why this channel exists. Yeah,
especially for you like watching cars go round tracks, don't you?
Occasionally. Yeah. Not so much this year.
Oh, right, okay.
But it's got a bit more interesting, a few more people fighting and all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
So
let's get onto the nerdy shit, shall we?
These are, like I say, because we've had a video that started to suddenly gain a bit more traction again after nearly a year, which is quite an unusual thing. These things seem to be making a bit of a return to being a bit of a favourite for people amongst the wider modelling / gaming hobby. Yeah,
it's super interesting because not Element Games, Wayland. Though I do believe Element now stock the Gundam kits. Wayland are the distributor for them in the UK. Yeah. And they moved them in about a year ago. We did a sponsored video last year, which went down pretty well. And like recently, Gundam, they've had an animation on Netflix that's really good. Yeah. That's like, you get to see this.
See, because I've never watched it, and my knowledge of it is very sketchy. When you watch the show, do you get to see the people inside these?
Yes.
You see the there's a whole backstory of them and their trials and tribulations as humans. It's not just you get to see these knocking lumps out of each other.
Yeah. Like I know even less about Gundam than I do Warhammer. My knowledge of that is growing. So yeah, I watched the show, which is cool. These guys are kind of, you don't follow that sort of team of dudes.
Oh right, okay.
You because there's like a kind of like a war on Earth, and you follow the other people, which are usually the baddies. So or ish, please correct me. You get to see that suit. You don't see the person inside of it, of this one, but it's way more advanced than anything else it's fighting. Right. Like I've seen it online, people nickname it like the war crime Gundam. Like it's so good.
Oh dear.
You see it like with a beam sword and stuff, just chop people into smithereens. I've had that one for a while. I think I built some feet on it on a stream once quite a while ago.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Hey, for a start, and very shiny decals, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But it's just, especially as, coming from, as I do, the grey sprue world of what is essentially only Warhammer, to open a box and immediately start to see sprues of different colours.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
I don't know where the feet even in there. I'm going to have to find them. They might be on my desk.
Oh, were they the feet that you made that ended up and looking like Sonic shoes?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
But, this sprues in multiple colours on the one frame, it's just all a bit mind-boggling, isn't it? It's a little bit unusual.
Incredible videos online of the manufacturing of these, like the injection moulding that they do, and like the articulated parts.
It's fascinating.
which are just amazing. This is like peak model kit.
You can see how people have got interested in it because the fact that, you know, and funnily enough, the only it is Bandai, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only Bandai model I've ever made was I made a First Order Stormtrooper, which was probably about the same height about the same height as a Black Series Hasbro Stormtrooper, and the layering system of how it all went together. It did, like the helmet, all of that thing of the helmets with, you know, black and then plates over the top and then the line around above the goggles. It has that famous, very obvious black line around the helmet, and how the helmet was all created, that it created the colours and the shapes that you associate with Stormtroopers, especially First Order Stormtroopers as this was. The way it was designed to create depth, whilst all being part of the building process, was absolutely fascinating. It's one of those ones, every time I built something I went, you know, every time I built a bit, it was like, oh, that's clever. Yeah. Oh, that's good, you know. But, you know, this thing of like, you know, there's the back, you know, one part of the shield and then the other part of the shield in red, and then it goes, you know, over the top
so
of
you
it.
have
It's almost like you're building
the white border and all that sort of stuff.
So it's almost like you're building and painting at the same time, isn't it?
And move it slightly further to the left, we can get it in the shot there. Yeah,
you know, and I think, you know, the way it does this, and I think, you know, and don't get me wrong, I know from the little bit I know, there's plenty of people who go even further with them and start doing, like, you know, like we do in Warhammer, start putting battle damage on them.
Yes.
And panel lining them is very much a popular thing as well, which I can understand with them being very white, like getting the panel lining in there and so on. But the idea that you can just, even if you decide not to do that, you can end up with a really reasonable looking model that's just built using different colours of plastic. Yeah. Without even having to go as far of that, I just think is fascinating how good it works out. But it's so,
it's interesting learning
the engineering of them is just fascinating,
all the grades and stuff as well. Like it never ceases to amaze me. There is one that I bought recently.
Oh right. Would you? I'll just move these out the way.
Which is the same model.
Oh right. Okay, that could be cool. Let's have a look at them.
Just a bit bigger.
any model kit that comes with a handle.
You know, you can't see me. You can just see part of my big forehead. Yeah, amazing. So,
and it is the same. It's the same dude, isn't it?
Yes.
An RX-78-2.
Yeah, RX-78-2. Like it's
EFSF prototype close combat mobile suit.
So this is perfect grade unleashed.
Yeah, because this one is apparently my little. I feel I've on massive levels of inadequacy now after seeing that box you put up there. This one is a real grade.
Yes.
And now this one you've got here is, what did you say it was called? Oh, what?
Perfect grade. But okay. Perfect grade unleashed. So I think this was, I saw what was advertised as like just the absolute sort of top end.
Oh my giddy hands.
Dogs doodahs.
What the build time on something like that?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to find out eventually. Let me see if it's just so bloody big. I can't show it off on camera. It's too big. But it gets to a point. It genuinely. This is actually comical how big this is.
Does it come with a spaceship?
Yes, you get your own little spaceship
and figures.
Yeah,
and you can build it just as the internal suit as well.
So
the fact that
you get 5 building, not options, but there's 5 stages of building. So you can like
just build like the internal skeleton.
This is so even that one has an internal skeleton, but then you clip the white armor on over the top. This one has an internal skeleton, then you put the underneath of all of the panels on. Yeah. Then all your little metal stickers. And then you put the white armor on, and you're like, you don't even see any of that, which is crazy. Oh. But I think that's all part of it. Like that's the point. Like you have an amazing experience building the kit.
So they're working its way along, and then it comes with, like say, it comes with an escape pod, 2 pilots who, even though they're teeny tiny, still manage to look extraordinarily Japanese anime type characters.
Yeah, I think we need to get this open and see if they come pre-painted or not. I'm intrigued.
It's ridiculous, that.
It's actually insane, isn't it? Like Ross bought one of these in the US. I'm amazed he had a suitcase big enough.
Was that when you were with him?
Yes, yeah, when we were in Indianapolis, yeah.
Right, and I'll shift this box out the way.
Good God! Oh right, so this is kind of why we got this camera set up today, basically. But it's going to be interesting with. I can't quite tell if you can see through that or not. Oh, there we go. Some reflections. That's essentially skeleton hands for various weapons options and bits and bobs. I want to try and find these people.
Every time you crinkle plastic, Belle thinks she's getting a treat.
Oh right, yeah.
Like, oh, noise, food noises. Food sounds like that. But then sprue.
Yeah.
That, it's really sort of flexing, isn't it, when you make a sprue that is not only a multiple of different colours, but then some of the screw then just goes transparent as well.
They are.
It's bananas that it works like that, isn't it?
They are taking the piss, I think, aren't they?
I know people go, people go, and I can see both sides of it go, Games Workshop produce some of the best plastics in the world for, and you go, they do within their field.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And what they do produce is generally, very good. And in a lot of cases, especially at the moment of Age with Age of Sigmar, very characterful.
Yes,
and they're very good at that. But this is just like engineering on another level, isn't it? It's bananas.
It's actually insane, I think.
Yeah.
So that's transfers. Stickers.
It almost is just. This is also almost just a description of Japanese culture on its own, isn't it? Just going manufacturing things at a high level to a ridiculously specific ability.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like a metaphor for Japanese working culture.
Like any decent camera lens worth its salt is made in Japan. Again, happy to be corrected. I'm sure someone will say, "Hey, there's loads of these." I know there's awesome Russian lenses from like really, really old.
Oh yeah.
For video, loads of cool like anamorphic like cinema lenses that just have loads of character, and they're really cool.
It's madness. And you just think, what have you found there? Have you found your pilots?
I think this is a Panasonic lithium battery. So the sword lights up.
It's bananas, isn't it?
Sorry about that. No food. Not for doggies, I'm afraid. Absolutely luxurious. I haven't found people yet.
I wonder what the average build time is on something like this.
I'm going to be very, very intrigued. Oh, this is just more hands. Oh, so this is...
The hands that go over your hands?
Yes.
Gloves. Robot gloves.
But, right, if we look at the image on the box, the hands are white, aren't they? Or are they... If you turn it
round.
Oh no, they are black.
No, they're black.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're black.
So I was going to say we haven't had any white hands yet. So yeah. We might just have a whole episode just looking at these.
I know. Bananas.
And I can't get.
It's weird because I think it's funny, isn't it? Because I spend my days dabbling in things that are on plastic sprues, but yet weirdly opening and looking at these looks like something utterly different.
So that's the scale of it. That's the same
shield
piece
as
for
the other one.
Yeah,
that's mental, isn't it?
On camera.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let me get my other shield for reference.
I still haven't found my people.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So it's quite a bit bigger.
Building both of them is like bringing your kids to school day, isn't it? That's madness.
That's insane.
But
every single sprue is individually wrapped, and I think they do such an incredible job with the numbers and things on these. So all the sprues are numbered. So you've got here like C3. That's all on its own separate tab, so it's dead easy to find.
Oh yeah.
And all of the numbers on the sprue actually go in order.
You mean just like they do on a Games Workshop one?
I tell you what, I had an absolute nightmare building orc commandos.
That's bananas, because I was just about to use that reference to you. I was building some the other night at Bestie Tim's.
Yeah.
And was just hunting around trying to find things.
Yeah. So
what made me laugh was it went, it was like C48.
Yeah.
And you go, that's great. And one sprue had a big marker on it saying C.
Yeah.
But there wasn't one on A and there wasn't one for B.
No.
Just one for C. You're like,
I don't know, like, because the kill teams, like, they're usually pretty good. Like, the Krieg are all generally sort of all clumped together and all that sort of stuff. But then it came to, I built the commandos, and you've got an arm on one sprue, its hand on another, a torso on another.
Yeah, it wasn't the bomb squig was on like 2 different sprues.
I had a terrible time building them.
Yeah, me too. And I was doing that thing as well. I was getting them, which I normally reserve for building Lego, but I was getting like sprue blindness, where I was just staring at it and staring at it and couldn't figure out what I was missing.
I still haven't found people.
So here's interesting.
We can look at the instructions.
Yeah.
They're probably so small that I've just completely missed them.
All the copies done are these.
Yeah. Never mind.
It's
But yeah, this is
it's weird that the instructions
amazing.
Look massively technical, but they're also, if you just stop and take a breath for a second and look at them, are really obvious in their design.
Yeah.
But this thing is immediately tellable of this thing of layering.
Yeah.
Plate goes over plate, followed by another plate goes over that, and and it creates a depth,
So yes.
Oh, I'd love to see Bandai get given a license to have a go at doing things like you go and do an Imperial Knight and see what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine if they did to a similar scale, like a Space Marine or something like that? How
in a buildable? Yeah, I know Bandai do. They had a large Space Marine, didn't they, that they released with Games Workshop probably about 2 years ago now.
Oh, right.
But it wasn't a kit. It was,
it was
like a big action figure,
But yeah, this is something else.
I don't know if you can get a shot of that, but there's a better shot of the...
all the different options.
All the different skeletal build-ups.
It's actually insane, isn't it?
It's bonkers, isn't it?
And then,
absolutely bonkers.
What's the difference between these two? They just got different.
He's got
transfers,
and he's got his chest piece open and things going on. This is different. He's got
yeah.
It's bananas, isn't it? It's absolutely mental. I think it's weird when when you're so used to, you open a Games Workshop plastic kit, and you've generally got a good idea what you're getting before you get started, don't you?
Yeah.
You know where you sort of are.
Yeah.
But, you open one of these and it's just like, and because my immediate bit of my brain now is just like, what's the build time on that? How long would that take? You know what I mean? And I can't also imagine, can you remember how much you paid for it?
I think it was like 300 quid. I'll double check.
But it's a beast of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot. But it is awesome.
And also, like now talking about bonkersness, you're talking about that battery?
Yeah.
That creates different coloured heat dissipation fans. I don't know quite how I'm pronouncing that. But if you look, again, could you camera that for me? If I can show it. Here, you can have different light emanating.
Oh, inside of the... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What have I done?
So like a whitish, a yellow, orange, and then a green. And then it lights the sword as well. It's just stone cold mental, isn't it?
On it, yeah, so all the eyes.
And the eyes change colour as well.
Yeah, so the eyes, the chest, the sword.
Oh, so that first one is more like a bluey white, actually.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's mental. Yeah, so you can change the colour of the eyes.
Okay, 250 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The yellow glow is set to default for the twin eyes, and various light-up effects seen in the series can be recreated with full colour RGB effects. The intensity of the lights changes and their colours change from blue, yellow and pink. It's mental. So yeah, and then it comes with this core fighter, a transformable fighter vehicle.
Because I think it
functions as the core block and incorporates thermal.
Yeah, because it can go, I think, is it like part of, it's insane.
It incorporates a thermonuclear hybrid engine, which I wouldn't be surprised the box actually comes with one of them.
Yes, yeah. I think the depleted uranium is extra.
It's an upgrade kit, but it's phenomenal. And as I've said already, but when you dabble in this world, but then you look at one of these, you realise it's just so different as to what goes on. It's like little vents and things that can just open in the back, and it's bananas. It really, really is bananas that it can be this full on.
Yeah. So Bandai, they've got a Gundam builders competition going on at the minute. I've seen a few people, like Spen Paints, has entered it, and he's put his online. Pretty sure Dave MS Paints.
Oh, Dave will massively be involved because he's a big fan.
Has gone in for it, and that looks incredible. So yeah,
it's just.
Oh, there's the people.
Oh, you found them.
Oh, they're unpainted.
Oh, right, okay.
So pretty tiny.
Oh yeah, let's have a look. Yeah,
maybe about the 15, equivalent to
about 15 mil.
Yeah.
Sort of size, maybe.
Let's see if we can get them on camera. Where are they? Yeah.
There we go. So 2 female pilots, and then 2 seated pilots.
There you go.
Well.
So you've got something to paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, from what I've seen of it, you can go to town on it if you wish, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. There's some incredible stuff out there.
And even but even if you only just build it as they've done it and then stick the decals on, it's still a really cool looking thing. But
yeah,
you get even looking at this, and I know this is a promo picture, the one that's on the cover, but you can see there's small, like round the feet, there's a small amount of grime and so on. But yeah, so even if you're just weathering it very, very slightly, it's going to really, really pop. And especially if you panel line it in as well. Which, don't get me wrong, looking at that, if you panel line it in, that's going to be like 3 months of your life.
It's actually going to be like, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, but
it's
so incredibly
it really
awesome.
Is impressive, isn't it? It's just mental. And it's like that, isn't it? It's like it's that thing, isn't it? You go, oh, you think you know model kits? You're building a crisis suit for the Tau.
Yeah. Like anything of any size, we used to like just super gluing big bits of resin together.
Yeah, absolutely right. And
the fact that this is all push fit, but this is like push fit on steroids. It's I can't say enough about it.
And Bandai doing a Warlord Titan. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they've got their like, it's just insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to get started.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, opening my Fallout Factions box, because I've got to do that first. I'm like, where are the build instructions?
This thing is just madness, isn't it? It really is impressive. And and I know I started here, but a sprue, one sprue that is 4 different colours, and 2 out of those 4 colours are transparent.
Yeah.
All on the one sprue. I don't even know where you'd start with how that all works.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm sure there's people who are obviously more engineering brained than I am will go, well, Jeff, it's this. And I'm sure it's quite obvious.
It'd be amazing to chat to the person that designed this.
And you go to them, what do you think about them Games Workshop models?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah.
Are you proud to be part of the team?
I'll put this down here for now.
It's comically big, that box,
bananas,
isn't it? Yeah. I just
bananas.
don't even bother trying to pack it away.
But yeah, wow. It's another little world, isn't it?
Yes, it's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And
imagine if that came with game rules. Well, you spend 250 quid, you go, that's your army bought, isn't it? Just one miniature.
Yeah.
I struggle to use the word miniature after looking at it now.
No, yeah. I don't think it is a miniature. What's
that term, Weta incorporated when they started doing all
bigatures.
Bigatures. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Bigature. Yeah. But absolutely amazing, isn't it? It's literally just a different slice of the hobby altogether. Yeah, I'm a bit dumbfounded by it, really. But yeah, cool. But yeah, Wayland, it was a shame my boys didn't pull their finger out quick enough, was because at Games Expo this year, Wayland were giving...
Oh, they're giving away free kits, weren't
little
they?
ones, if you then stood at the table and built it, and then you get to keep it, didn't you? I was like that to my boys, wait for a space, and they were, no, he's got to go and look at this first. And then I told them, like, did you get your Gundams? Like, no, there was none left. And I was like, yeah, I can't say I'm surprised.
No, yeah.
But yeah. Very cool. Right then, what else have we got?
I had my little trip to London to the
please.
Mass Effect event. I did take my camera, so there'll be a short that I will edit after we finish recording this, I think.
We spoke about Mass Effect about 5 or 6 videos ago, didn't we?
Yeah, it was sort of in September, I think. They very kindly sent us the board game, which went up for pre-order sort of shortly after that, and then got launched. But I'd never been to sort of one of those things before, so it's very nice to be asked. Very kind of Modiphius to put that on for people. But the guy that voiced Commander Shepard was wandering around, and I was just like, oh my god! But I was too shy to talk to him. I'm a terrible content creator person. But the painting coach Lloyd was there, so
we like Lloyd.
that was really nice. There was a little group of us hanging out and chatting, and a free bar. Can you believe it?
Did you drive down?
I did drive down.
That's a shame.
So I only had one drink, which was like 4 hours, and then I had 4 or 5 hours until I had to drive anywhere. So it was very sensible. But it was, I was like, could I just see how cheap, expensive hotels are? But no. It was great. Played the game. There was a paint intake. There was someone in cosplay, and you could get pictures and stuff. It was just like a really cool, like nice sort of event.
Quite laid back.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But
so how did you find the game? I haven't played it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So it's because I was trying to explain it to someone, and they were like, "Oh, so it's like D&D combat?" And it's like, no, ish, because you have like your hex-based sort of system,
which is brilliantly in a book. When those of you haven't seen, if you go back and have a troll around, you'll find the episode where we talked about it. The fact that you open a book, and then your book is your map, is your board.
Yeah, so you got all your missions. You can pick all your characters and all that sort of thing. It's team based. Like you are the team, and you're fighting against all your baddies. But something that I'd never seen before. Not to say that it doesn't already exist. I don't know. But you start off with your 12 dice. Whoever goes first, usually Commander Shepard, and then it rotates around. But we just did the one turn to get to grips with it. You have your 12 dice. You get to roll all of them.
Yeah. And
pick out the 3 that you want or what have you. And they go on your little character sheet. And then the next person has 9 dice. The next person has 6. And then the last person has 3. So that was really interesting. I'd never seen that before.
And it spins round, I assume, so everyone gets a chance of being the one who gets all the dice.
Yes, yeah. So we only did the one turn. I ran headlong into battle and immediately died. But everyone else did all right. But it's really, really cool. It was really nice.
And as you spoke about before, really competitively priced as well.
Yeah, like it retails at 50 quid.
Yeah.
So you can get it under 50 quid if you go to Element Games, for example, or something along those lines. What's interesting is they're releasing multiple sets of miniatures for it as well. Yeah. So in the box, you've got the PVC or Ceocast. They're like single piece miniatures. But there's some like restrictions with the tooling, and you have to get it out in a single piece. It has to be of a certain size. So like the Shepherd miniatures, kind of like that classic sort of quite flat arms and stuff. Whereas I've also got some resin models that they sent us as well. So the pose is a bit different,
a bit more dynamic.
Yeah, models are more detailed, so you really can go to town on them if you want to. And
we said before as well, although in the box it comes with the bad guys are represented as counters, but they are making bad guy miniatures as well. If you're that way
so
inclined.
it'll be interesting, because I wonder because they're Fallout game, they've got Fallout factions.
Yeah,
they've got Fallout the role playing game.
Yeah,
and a ton of different Fallout miniatures. So you got Brotherhood of Steel and and all in the Hollywood sort of miniatures
the
and all that
characters
sort
from
of
the
stuff.
TV show, they've got all them, haven't they?
It'll be interesting. I wonder if they'll be doing more Mass Effect games, because you can buy, or pre-order at least, all of the Cerberus, like they're the baddies, like the human baddies, miniatures. But yeah, it could get quite crowded on the book. So, but they're designing them all, so it'd be interesting to see what comes next for Mass Effect. I wonder if they do like some kind of like role-playing thing or something along those lines.
The Fidgets are doing well, aren't they? They bring out Fallout and Amazon go, right, we're making that into a TV show, and they're like, excellent.
Yeah.
And now it's just been announced that, they've brought out Mass Effect, and then now they've Amazon have confirmed that Mass Effect is now a go.
Yeah.
And they're going to start making that as a TV show, which I think has got legs to be a really good TV show, because it's such a deep...
Yes.
It's just a deeper, wide, and very well established story. It's a story that has an actual proper arc to it.
It will be really, really interesting though, seeing how they play through. If they do follow the games, kind of the playthrough that they do. Yeah,
because obviously the game is very branch based.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and you can be Renegade or Paragon or a mixture of both or whatever. Excuse me. So I imagine there'll be people yelling at the screen. Like there's a scene like where this reporter comes down and just like starts giving you loads of shit. I think it's Mass Effect 1. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, no, what are you on about? I saved all these people, and I know that's just absolute lies, and you're bad. You're just trying to clickbait. And then there's one option like right at the end.
Yeah.
Where unless you know what's coming, like you go, I'm sick of your accusations. This interview's over.
Yeah.
And the character goes, I'm sick of all these disingenuous accusations, and you punch her.
Oh right.
And you're just like,
harsh.
what the fuck? So if they recreate that, I mean, it would be hilarious if they did some of the Renegade options and stuff like that.
Didn't they Netflix a while ago did a TV show where you could choose the options of how it went, didn't they?
Yes.
It's like a spin-off of one of the Black Mirror episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be cool if Amazon did that way when you pick your own version as you watch it.
Because
everyone would just pick the punch the reporter bit, though, wouldn't they? Everyone would just go, oh yeah, do that.
I always play the Paragon side of things. I always generally do the nice bit.
Yeah, I do when I play video games where you've got options. I always try to be as nice as I can.
Yeah. There's a few times where I'll make an exception. Like you get these in Mass Effect 2, the best game ever made. You get these flashing up options where it's like, hey, you could be a bit of a dick now if you want to.
Yeah.
And there's one where it actually helps you in the mission. There's this big mech and there's a guy or a ship, sorry. And there's a guy fixing it.
Yeah.
And you can take like a taser and just be like, nah, like you're not going to fix it. And then it's easier to destroy later on and stuff like that. There's some good stuff where, you can push someone out a window, or there's this tiny little alien that's just like unfathomably high.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got all this telekinesis and I'm a god and awesome. And you know that he's going to get annihilated. And if you play through as a dickhead, you can just be like, yeah, go on. Go and fight him. And then there's this amazing cutscene where he comes in and he's just like, I'm a wind of justice. And he just immediately gets killed. Whereas if you're nice, you can just go, no, just sit down and have a nap.
One of my favourite one of them is in Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is a one set in like a Vietnam sort of era.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bit in it where you go to fight this really, really old man who's a sniper.
Yeah.
And it's a dense forest scene, and it's really, really, you've got to try and find him while he's shooting at you. And he's a really old man. And what you can actually do, which is just like the most, you can set the game up, get to that bit, and then just go out for the day, and he dies of old age.
So the guy you're trying to find just dies of old age.
Just dies of old age. Or another bit early on in the game, you see him in like a wheelchair on a jetty, and you can at that point just shoot him because you can snipe him from a big distance and just kill him there, and that whole bit of the game just doesn't happen.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so because the Metal Gear Solid had some did you ever the one with like moving your controller over? Do you ever hear of that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, like if you when you're fighting this character called Psycho Mantis, and he preempts what you're going to do. So you just, on the old PlayStation 1, you just took the controller out of port 1 and put it in port 2, and then he didn't figure out what you were doing. Some of the stuff with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the one thing I remember with Metal Gear, I think, was that you're after a code or something.
A radio frequency code.
And the guy says
it's on the box.
It's on the box, and it's on the actual case of the game.
Oh, and the worst of it was, this is basically pre the internet.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go on and go, where's the code on the, what box are they talking about?
Yeah.
Is everybody sat there and eventually were just like staring down at the back of the Metal Gear box and went, oh no, for the love of God, and go, they said it was on the box. And it was on the box.
We must be due a Metal Gear game.
Well, I know at the moment what they're currently doing is I think they're remastering a lot of them. Oh, the other one as well with that Psycho Mantis character. He would read your memory card when you used to have to put memory cards in and slag you off for how badly you'd done. And also, there was another game called Zone of the Enders, which was made by the same director.
Yeah.
And he would slag you off for how badly you'd been playing Zone of the Enders if you'd had saves on your memory card. Such a bizarre way. But I love stuff like that where video games have...
Yeah.
You can take quite,
Yeah.
weird different branching options as to how to do stuff,
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the... Oh, is it Secret Level on Amazon?
Oh, yeah,
That's coming
me
out
too.
soon. There was some new clips of all of them, but specifically the Space Marines, I think, was mainly what I was looking out for, and it looks incredible.
Yeah. The problem being is, isn't it? The problem being is like, I don't know how many episodes. Well, let's find out how many episodes Secret Level is. But my worry is like, don't let the Space Marine episode be right at the very end.
Yeah, yeah. So made by the Love, Death and Robots guys.
Have you watched much of that?
Yes.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. And all the little vignettes and stories and different styles that they're in, I think is amazing. But yeah, Space Marine, it's Lieutenant Titus.
Yes.
And it seems like he hooks up with some, like a Blade Guard veteran squad.
Yeah, it looks like it's some of the shields and things you've seen knocking around.
Absolutely going to town and charging through tanks and stuff. And I think this will be like, you get to see Space Marines be Space Marines. And I think that will be really, really cool.
I love the fact that Keanu Reeves and Arnold Schwarzenegger are in them as well, aren't they? In different episodes and stuff. But so 15 episodes. 15 episodes in total. Yeah. Starting on the 10th of December and ending on the 28th of January of next year.
So this will be interesting because I wonder if, like you say, where do we think Warhammer will come in that list?
Yeah. And and the funny, I will probably watch all of them. A lot of them are video games I've not played. I've never played Armored Core.
No.
But I appreciate that team, like based on Love, Death and Robots. I'll watch anything they pump out. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I'm hoping that it's going to be really good. And what I'm hoping, and I know far and away, but it's like, I hope lots of people watch the Space Marine episode, and maybe we might not be the end of what we get. Would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Because I really hope that the Amazon series with Henry Cavill and everything happens.
Yeah.
There's less and less talk about it now.
Yeah, it's gone a little bit tumbleweedy lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, because like the rumor is it's supposed to be December, isn't it?
Yeah,
when
it's got to be signed off by December.
Happened or something.
Yeah.
But maybe they're going to use Secret Level as like a litmus test.
Yeah, maybe.
And go, these did well, those didn't. We'll greenlight these for a series and we'll bin those off.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think what would be a good way to do it, I think, especially because a lot of them are now getting on a little bit, they've been around a while, I think wouldn't be a bad shout for Games Workshop if they're going to have a strong relationship with with Amazon going forward is maybe now be a way of releasing some of the older ones that have been knocking around on Warhammer TV for a while. Yeah. Anybody that's going to watch them has watched them massively early from having a subscription, and I think maybe now sticking some of them out on, you know, if Secret Level Space Marine episode does really well, go maybe put Angels of Death, because Angels of Death is now is what, two nearly 3 years old, surely.
Yeah.
Maybe stick that out there, see how many people tune into that and stuff like that. You know, you're going, you know, I wouldn't feel like, oh, I paid for this subscription, but yet now people have seen it for free. You're going, it was so long ago. We've all had our, you know, our advanced amount of time to see it compared to other people. I think, maybe sticking some out there for nothing would be, well, it's not for nothing because you have to pay for an Amazon subscription, but sticking it out there and, you know, keep feathering the nest of people's interest in Warhammer and Amazon being a thing would be good.
There was a fan film I talked about a little while ago. I can't remember what it was called now, like The Awakening or something like that.
Oh, right.
Maybe. Some Space Marines go into a Necron tomb, and then the title of the film happens.
Yeah.
Shock.
Yeah.
That did insanely well. I got well over 1 million views, I think, really quick. So the appetite's definitely there. It's
nice to see that it was just dropped in just a comment the other day that work is moving forward with the Astartes 2, which is great.
I missed that, so that's cool.
Yeah. It was just mentioned in the comments. Someone went, you know, where are we at with the Astartes? And somebody at Warhammer just went, oh yeah, it's moving forward. It's ongoing, and you know.
Okay.
So especially because that was about 4 years ago.
Because they announced Astartes 2 at the beginning of, hey, Warhammer Plus is going to be a thing, and had a logo for it and all that sort of stuff. And there was going to be a Black Templar one as well, but I think with the sort of, I think that was being made in Russia. And
all right, okay.
Like with the restrictions and all that sort of stuff, I think it just kind of fell to pieces.
Yeah. Had that other one not long back, which was just a bit of a random one, wasn't it? It was the Death Watch one.
The little sort of, I think they literally called it like a vignette or something, didn't they? Yeah.
And I think it almost felt like that felt a bit bittersweet going, look, we're doing a little video about those dudes who we've just absolutely thrown under the bus with regards to being an army.
Yes, because you can't play
most of it.
Because you can't play a full Death Watch army now.
No, not really. No. It's a shame. I think, especially going, look, no. Hey, no.
Yeah. Did we, well, I'll hit release on it very shortly. Have your rules for your Inquisitor come out? No, they haven't. So no. We can release that
a
week after we recorded it, and it's still
no mention of them.
That's good.
You know, maybe the idea is with that now is you go, oh yeah, you just play that servitor, even though we've talked about him having sound weaponry, just play him as another servitor. But I don't feel that's ultimately right. No. Especially when you made a big deal of talking about him having all, you know, he does this, and the Inquisitor is armed differently than other Inquisitors, and then just not do anything with it just feels a bit naughty to me.
Yes.
You know, it feels a little bit like if that was not for me, because I'm a sucker for it, but if that was your first year of Warhammer Plus and you bought it on the grounds of reading that Warcom article, I'd be feeling a little bit stung.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
I did think after we recorded that, I was like, oh, maybe because the Guard Codex is coming out, isn't it? And I was like, oh, human, they might just put the rules in there, but they won't, because they've got Inquisitorial Agents.
Yeah, because they've got their own book, And I understood it not being in there, that book, because it's being so close together. I got it, but, you know, they do when they want to work quite quickly, because they have already included the Vespids and the Tempestus Aquilans, I think they're called, aren't they, from Hivestorm.
Yeah.
They are now, the Aquilans has been added to the Astra Militarum data slates, because they haven't yet got a codex, and that weaponry, the new weaponry and different bits of equipment that the Vespids have got has replaced the old Vespids data slates on the Tau codex on the app.
Yeah.
So they can work quick when they want to. So you're going, come on.
Yeah.
Where's this chap?
Yeah.
Maybe I think maybe it goes well because I haven't got the Imperial Agents Codex. I need to put my finger out and have a look and see whether he's been added on the on the actual
Oh, okay, yeah.
on the app, but I haven't heard anybody else mention it. You know?
Right,
But,
okay, yeah.
It's sad though, because I seen the other day they were going. I was reading an article that was going. The Tempestus Aquilans are very, very good in the Astra Militarum army,
Yeah.
which was great. And then I read the thing saying, "Oh, the things we've got planned with our
Nerf.
yeah, they've already said it. They've already said it. We'll probably be adjusting the Aquilans in the next because there's another rules update very soon. You're like, oh, if you manage to get them 2 or 3 games in with a bit of luck before that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
damn it. But yeah, so anyway, well, we'll see how that goes.
I hear on the never played it myself, War Machine, people on the Discord, are wonderful patrons, speak very highly of it because it's all digital.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good.
I think in a lot of areas, I think the digital angle that Games Workshop have taken, especially with Kill Team, I think their support for Kill Team's been very good. So, I think if the app had an actual team builder, I think would probably be, all it's missing. But if it had a team builder, I think that'd be decent. But other than that, I think the Kill Team app is pretty good. So no whinges from me there with regards to, trying to make that all as accessible as possible. So
no, my Kill Team's gone missing in the post.
Oh, what the starter set?
The starter set, yeah.
Oh man, let's hope that gets sorted.
So unbelievably keen for it because I was thinking, I wanted to build it whilst we were chatting today.
Oh, that would have been a nice little thing to do, wouldn't it?
And just be like, I want to say massive Gundam, probably take over a week to build.
Yeah, quite probably.
And then just be like, cool, yeah, start set. Like, you don't need clippers or anything. Let's see how easy it is.
Yeah.
But it's
a wall.
Yeah, it should have arrived last Saturday.
Oh right, so it's well over a week then.
Yeah, and I've given it a while, so I'm about to email Element Games and just be like, help.
Yeah. Can you track this for me?
Yeah, I want my toys. Yes, so hopefully that rocks up soon.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Cool.
Yeah. Right then, what else have we got on our list?
Well, we talked about Mass Effect, which was awesome. Secret Level. Hope the Amazon series happens. Talked about Gundams. We got a sneak preview of the Emperor's Children.
Yeah, it's hard to base the whole conversation on how good an army is going to be off 3 or 4 shoulder pads, but the shoulder pads looked really nice.
They did they?
Well, at least the thing I am interested to see, I think, is because it's the first time we'll have a model after a model, which is the same thing but different. Is we've had early Horus Heresy, we've had a Fulgrim on foot, and then they did Fulgrim Ascended with his big snaky tail, but still looking like quite a handsome dude from the waist up.
Love those models.
And they are lovely.
Is so good.
Yeah, Horus Ascended is lovely, and I like the way he's got bigger, but he's not particularly demonic. But then the fact that they went Fulgrim and then Fulgrim snaky boy version, when it's such a beautiful model. I've been looking at photographs that have been put up lately of Rich Gray still fighting his way through it.
Oh, perfect.
He's been talking about it. But they've said that because when people were then, when they created Fulgrim Ascended, people were going, is this my Fulgrim now as well? Will there be rules for him in 40k? Because it's the demonic version. So realistically, it would go over. And Games Workshop said, no. But if I remember rightly, they said, no, but you'll get one.
Oh, okay.
So, are we going to get one now another 10,000 years down the line? Will he be more demonic?
Yeah.
And will he come out with the Emperor's Children re-release?
Because all of the Primarchs...
Refresh, sorry.
All the Primarchs that have been released have been plastic.
Yeah.
There's no way they would have a resin Primarch in 40k, I don't think.
No. They don't like to cross the streams, do they?
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you could proxy it, but... yeah, that'd be intriguing.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what 10,000 years has done to him as well, because obviously,
it didn't, just, out of it at the minute, because my initial thought was like, oh, cool, like, we'll get some specific units and Marines and stuff like that, but when they did the World Eaters, like Angron, obviously, came with that, Thousand Suns, you got Magnus, so they've done the Primarchs every time, so... Yeah, Pilgrim confirmed.
Yeah, Phil, basically, yeah, and I hope it's nice because I always quite like the Thousand Sons. I always quite like the Emperor's Children.
Yeah,
in the 40k version of them, and where they used to do, especially the Noise Marines have always looked really cool, especially when some of them have got like speakers for mouths and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and their backpacks are converted to have speakers on them as well, and the gun is somewhere between a gun and a guitar. It's all quite cool. I hope they really lean into it. I know we've had a bit sterile 40k for a little while. I hope they don't have a sterile 40k.
Yeah,
Emperor's Children's. I'd like just go over just for a few weeks. Hopefully they went over and borrowed someone from Age of Sigmar, come over, did it, then sent him back.
Because I think maybe
they went, keep taking your drugs, but come into this building to work for a few weeks.
There's going to be so many things that they're going to have to do to try and keep as many people as happy as possible. Because, like, Age of Sigmar, like we talk about it all the time, the models are incredible.
Off the scale, how good it is.
A lot of other channels talk about how good it is, and at the minute, sort of the 40k is a bit sterile. Like the Blood Angels releases that came out, the new Inquisitor.
Yeah,
everyone was just sort of like, it's a bit boring.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
So, but then the criticism of AOS is that it's now getting a bit too detailed.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I feel a bit sorry for the designers for the sculptors, because you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't you, a little bit, I think the problem being is, I think scaling back on detail and not going mental, I think there is spaces for that, but I think there was linchpin things that they should have known to leave alone. Like, just leave the bloody wings on the Sanguinius Guard. Yes. Just leave them alone. It's a bloomin', just leave that alone. Do you know what I mean? Just don't touch that. And they did. And I think I don't think people expect everything to be the most amazing model they've ever seen. I think they just have linchpin things in the designs of stuff that people expect to remain. Yeah. And I think that's them little things like that annoy people mostly, But like I say, some of the crazy stuff that's been done over at Age of Sigmar, that's why I always say that they're always on good drugs, because it is really some of it's like fever dream nightmare stuff. But I think some of that, a bit of an essence of that into the Emperor's Children, I think would be really cool. You know, because there is some bonkers stuff out there. I'm still trying to get over that one of the character playing the harp that's embedded in a human being.
Oh yes,
which is grim.
Yeah,
but that to me is real Emperor's Children sort of stuff.
Yes, yeah. Because was that what was that?
That's some sort of chaos cultist thing?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's great, and you think that's what you want with. That's what you
it's
want
super gross, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
There was minor spoilers for a Bequin novel, Emperor's Children.
Oh really? Oh cool.
Space Marine is it only for a little bit?
Yeah.
But I finished Bequin Book 2.
Good.
Really good.
Oh, excellent.
The ending of Bequin Book 2 is awesome. It's so good. But also there's some really wicked action in some cool things in a lift, and it's brilliant.
Is book 3 out?
No.
Not yet.
No. At the end of the recording it says Bequin will return in so-and-so.
Like that's a James Bond then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But it's really good, and there's so many questions, but you also get like a hell of an answer.
Yeah,
because in Eisenhorn and the Ravener series, if you don't want to know anything about those books, I'm not going to spoil them, but some basic plot points is they're finding this ancient language, like called Annuncia, and it's like the language of creation and destruction, and it's mega powerful, and you kind of you might be able to learn a word but you forget it or whatever. But Eisenhorn sort of starts using it, and people are like, heresy, and stuff like that. But you kind of learn that there's this big character behind the scenes, that kind of doing everything, and it's awesome. You learn at the end of Bequin Book 2 who that person is.
Cool.
And it's awesome.
Excellent. I must have to pull my finger out, because all I've read in that sort of bigger story arc is I've only read the 3 Eisenhorns. I've not started on Ravner.
Yeah.
I find I'm struggling to get my head around the concept of the character a little bit ago, basically a man who is, immobilized to the point of not being able to do everything, and everything is done psychically with other.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit like, it's like Professor X on steroids, and it's like taking me a little bit to get my head around that. But I also think I really desperately want to read Bequin, but I wouldn't dream of reading Bequin without working my way through Ravner first. Because I feel like I'm one of those people who needs to know everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Interestingly, I would say, like, don't necessarily skip Ravner because you want to learn about Ravner. I grew to really, really like his team.
Yeah. And apparently that's where a lot of the strength of the books is in them, isn't it?
Yeah, because they do,
his X-Men.
They do the physical heavy lifting. Wolverine's great. Yeah, they're brilliant. So some of the characters you kind of know if from Eisenhorn, some of them carry over. So like, is it Kara Swole and Harlan Nail? Yeah. Are in book 3, and they
cool.
Of Eisenhorn, and then they're with Ravner.
Yeah.
But there's a psychic lady called Patience Kiss, and she's just like, she starts off quite sort of not like mean, but she's just like takes no shit, and she's an absolute badass. And by the end of the Ravner series, I was just like, Patience is awesome.
Yeah.
She's really, really cool. And
so you sort of warm to her as you go on.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really, really awesome. And the Bequin books, like I started reading the first Bequin novel and just not having a clue what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, realized that Magos existed, went back and read that. There's a sentence in there that you're sort of like, you go, okay, it's explained something, but not loads. And then through the books, it kind of explains it more and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's super interesting. Like genuinely, like I think it would, like it's colossally big news. I remember Valrak going a bit mental about it. I think when the book first got released. But yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, I've had a few months off from reading any 40k. I've become a bit obsessed with the Slow Horses TV series.
Oh yeah,
but I don't want to reading and a lot of people have said that, not massively hugely close, but said that the books and the TV series are generally relatively close.
Yeah.
So the idea of reading books of TV series have already seems a little bit pointless if they're quite nippy with how close they are to each other. If they're quite close, I think, is it worth reading something I've watched and knowing that it's going to be relatively similar? And I probably will do long enough down the line. I probably will. And I don't want to read any of the books that are yet to become TV series if they're running relatively close, because I get the impression with Slow Horses that it's doing so well that I've just finished season 4, and it shows you a trailer it shows you a trailer for season 5, and then they announced and gone, season 6 has been signed off, and you're going, so they're going to do all of the books. But there is 2 novels that there's 2 novels that are in the Slow Horses universe that explains a character who turns 2 characters who float around in the TV series. There's 2 books about them 2 characters, about them characters to some degree. I had to read them because they were like, they're probably not going to get TV shows explaining their things that happened with them. So I've read both of them recently and quite enjoyed them as well. And
I love Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's great anyway, but he's especially very good in Slow Horses. But so I've been reading them, but I think I might need to go back to a bit of 40k. I think I was on a bit of a Gaunt Ghost run the last time I was in there, but I might maybe have to stick my toe back into the Eisenhorn Ravner world, I think.
I've really been enjoying it, and after I finished Bequin, some behind the scenes, I've been filming some as you know, because you would be in the video as well.
Yes.
We've been filming some like commercial work with like a board game launch, and I got to meet Gav Thorpe, and I was like, I want to know, like, I want to read one of his books. So I'm reading Indomitus at the minute.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to Indomitus. Because that's very much not sort of, because I really like the human stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way of showcasing kind of how bizarre the kind of Imperium and people living in that universe and Space Marines compared to like humans and so on and so forth. But so that is like about the Indomitus Crusades and stuff, isn't it?
Right, okay.
And it's just sort of a story in there, and it does swap perspectives a little bit. Like the first sort of bit of the book, it's Ultramarines, and it's quite interesting because like I'm used to sort of like bequin might just be like, I saw this thing and I just felt dread and panic and all of these emotions, and then all these Ultramarines are just like, shall we do this, brother? Yes, I think we should. No, I think we should do it this way instead. You bastard. And like everything, like, because they don't feel fear and all that sort of thing. So it's a completely different style of book. But then the perspective of it has just swapped to not Space Marines. Well,
that's one of the things I liked about. I don't know. I keep saying it like it's almost like it's the only 40k book I've ever wrote.
Yes.
But the Emperor's Spears.
Yes.
Spears of the Emperor as the book is called, and the Emperor's Spears is the chapter. But that's the really lovely thing is that it's from the point of view of one of this quite hard-nosed Marine, even by Marine standards. Of one of his assistants who has to work with him because he doesn't have a chapter to back him up. He works individually, and you see the brutality of the stuff that they get themselves involved in through the human eyes of a person who can just about cope with what she's subjected to.
Because it's really cool, that because you have her, she's like the point of view of the book. She has the Space Marine that she works for, but then he's interacting with another bunch of Space Marines. So it's like you experience Space Marines, so they're a bit weird, but that's like a normal one. These are the weird ones.
These are the really weird ones.
It kind of like gets that perspective, sort of like fish out of water. Fish has got legs. Like I don't know what the best way to describe it is.
Like it's like somebody who's like honoured in that book. He's honoured to become this this Space Marine. And it's an amazing thing to have been picked to become one, and then and then go on to be what he is. And then you've got all these other ones who are carrying the shame of the fact that they're basically just bundled away as children, whether they want to be or not. And then they are taken away as barbarians and then taught, implanted into him is all a technological knowledge of what the wider Imperium is, and then still hang around on a planet with people who now basically think that Space Marines are ghosts and are like basically like the undead, because they steal children away and they never come back. And it's this really brilliant juxtaposition between them being still quite barbarian-esque, and then this other guy whose job is to turn up and train humans and argue trade agreements, and they go everywhere on their own generally, and then he turns up with these bunch of lunatics who they've got a very dry, they're almost resentful of being Space Marines. I was dragged away as a child, no one asked if it was okay, and I can never go back to my family, and the only people they interact with in the barbarians is they only interact with the witches, because they seem to have some sort of they act as sort of like soothsayers for their psychic opinions of what's going on. And I find it a really interesting book because it's like fish out of water for everybody, isn't it? But it's quite entertaining.
I love Black Library. I'm really enjoying so many of the novels. And
I always think I generally
really, really good.
I don't read a lot of them, but it's not very often I read one that I've gone, that was a bit naff. They're generally pretty decent.
They all add something.
And even ones that I don't read, but my youngster's reading. He read that Orc one.
I've listened to that one,
and he really liked it. And he's reading. He's currently reading The Infinite and the Divine at the moment. Which he keeps putting down and coming back and telling me how funny it is.
It's amazing. It's like two Necrons bickering with each other for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. He's so good. I think it's quite possibly my favourite.
It's a lot of people are big fans.
Yeah, I think individual book, I think is my favourite.
But when we had Arbiter Ian on, and he's read a lot of 40k, he was very keen on the Infinite and the Divine as well.
Yeah, it's so fun, and like the things that they don't really care about, or the way they sort of experience time and all that sort of stuff. Like I immediately like. You look at it and you're like, that's why all the Trazen memes are a thing. Yeah. Like, because they're just so
And it's quite funny, isn't it? Because when you see them if you look at them as a range of plastic, they're not very characterful, are they? The old Necrons, they're all very similar to look at. And, there's not, other than the actual standout commanders, there's not a huge amount of flair to them.
No.
And the idea is they are meant to be almost like thoughtless, just moving forward, relentless. And then the book that sort of turns two of them into these like really characterful.
Yeah, that's it.
It's quite an interesting slant.
Their characters are amazing, and it's sometimes the way that they reference like the your general Necron sort of troop or whatever.
Yeah,
like they're just a bit mindless and whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a really cool story. I really like the lore of the Necrons. I think that's quite fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still not super keen. Like, I wouldn't collect them as an army, I don't think. No. I think that would potentially be the fastest army to paint.
Yeah, and they're a funny army, aren't they? I think the Necrons, because you see people who they're going to be lead belcher, they're getting green glowing eyes, bang, done. And I think that's great if you don't want to spend a lot of time or aren't a great painter. There is not a lot of models in that range.
They'd love a dry brush, wouldn't they?
Yeah, there's not a lot of models in that will challenge you. And even if you weren't a great painter, you could get the majority that army did. And if you had to lean on a friend or lean on a commission to get just the really cool ones done, you'd end up with, but then also at the same point in time, I've seen Necrons at the other end of it where people have done them almost in like coloured ceramics, and they look great.
Yeah.
They're an army that I think benefits doing as much or as little to them as you want, I think,
Yeah.
So, they're not an army for me, I don't think, but I just like me. I like, it's one of the reasons why I'm a bit of a sucker for Space Marines is I like me heroes to look like heroes. Do you know what I mean? And and I think that's a bit easier when they've got a human face.
Yeah.
To go, oh well,
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's just a bit, but the one novel I haven't read, but I know is from some of the Facebook groups I'm in. There's a few people reading it at the moment, and seems to be quite like. There's one, there's a relatively new one about the Krieg out at the moment, and a lot of people are really quite raving about that.
Ooh,
and that'd be quite interesting because to me they're also another bunch that I don't think I was being particularly. It's like Shovel and I Want to Die.
Yes.
Is the meme version of them all the time.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
They're like the reductionist view
they're
of
still
it.
paying for they're trying to wipe out pay their guilt off for a rebellion they've had, isn't it? And I think and they become, again, they're all faceless. Every one of them's in a gas mask, including the horses. Everyone's in a gas mask. So you go, it's a bit hard to connect to them, but apparently the book's very good.
Fantastic.
And it's going to be blatantly sort of First World War trench warfare style book. So I think I might give that a shot at some point further down.
Yeah, because I only, if I'm not filming here, I'm doing a lot of driving, going somewhere else to film something. So I love listening to audio. I only listen to audiobooks in the car. So yeah, I'll have to see if it has come out on audiobook.
Yeah.
Do they release them all simultaneously?
I think they come out relatively quite quickly, don't they? If they don't come out simultaneously, I think it's quite close.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Aye. What else have we got then before we wrap up?
That is. Oh well, that's it. Well, so the last thing we're going to talk about on our list of bits and bobs this week was last week we were like, hey, Christmas boxes, and we all said I think the Dark Angels one looked really good
with the really good saving, nearly kicking on the door of £100.
Yes, incredible. Can't find it anywhere.
What a shock.
Yeah, so it's out of stock on Warhammer.com. Element Games, all of the 40k boxes apart from the Sisters.
Oh, you mean the Sisters? The
half marathon.
The half marathon. Sisters Battle half marathon.
That's it. Maybe that wasn't the right theme to go down. Maybe Games Workshop.
I just don't think that fill of the Sisters of Battle box with everything in it except Sisters of Battle is particularly the way to do it, is it? I think You know, it's like, you know, I really want to do Sisters of Battle for Kill Team.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do them Sisters of Battle, the trainee ones and the habits.
Yeah,
I want to do, I want bobbed haircuts and as we know them, you know what I mean?
Sisters.
Yeah, I want sisters. I love that the idea that they created, and that's one of the things I love about Kill Team, is it allows new things to thrive and become a thing. I like the idea of going, you've never really seen them before, but here's trainees.
Yes.
And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good idea, but I also would quite like non-trainees, if that's okay, you know. So when they hopefully, touch wood, they finally get around to doing ordinary sisters, I'll probably do a Kill Team of them, I think.
Yeah.
But I also sound like massively talking against my own desires here. I also quite like the idea is Kill Team is the bit that does the things that isn't every day. You know, I quite like the idea of going, you know, maybe these are the only ones we will do because sisters are out there, you know. But I, you know, it's like I'd like to just paint up 10, and especially because during COVID, I picked up that miniature. They released a sister sergeant who's pointing her gun. She sort of stood side on, and she's got quite a large scar on the side of her face. She's a character. Yeah. Well, or at the very least named. And I thought, so I was doing sisters. I'd quite like to do that one to go as like the sergeant of that squad. So, but yeah, so I've got 2 miniatures that are waiting on me to have a Kill Team for that sister if they eventually do them in full armor. And I've got me Cassock sergeant from last year's.
Because if we're back to orcs again now in Kill Team, I wonder if they'll do, because sisters were like the second box.
They were. Yeah, they were. Yeah,
of kind of
it was sisters versus Pathfinders, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It'd
be interesting to see whether they come back around to them again.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be nice because I think like the space. If you want a Space Marine Kill Team, I get the Scouts exist, wonderful. But it's great now that you have your Space Marines. Yeah,
and you can pick from a wide range of what you want in there, which is cool.
So if you're like, hey, this is my Space Marine team. Where are the Space Marines? Oh, these are all trainees. Not quite there yet. Yeah. Or something like if you, so I completely get it. If you want a sisters kill team, you want.
Yeah, you want the
you don't want sisters. You want sisters.
Absolutely right. With a capital S. Yeah.
Yes.
But so I'd like them to do that because then I say I've got this miniature sitting there waiting for a home. And I am now starting to go, I might have to. Now that my brain is becoming a bit more Kill Team of going, it's okay to have 10 miniatures that, although I like to get miniatures that live elsewhere. Yeah. You know, I've got a Kill Team of Kroot, but I'm building an army of Kroot. You know, and I like the idea that generally I've got Orc Commandos, but I'm quite happy for my youngest boy to use them when he starts his Orc army. So I like the idea that stuff can go and be in other places. I'm saying with my Arbites, the idea I can use them Necromunda, I can use them in 40k, I can use them in Kill Team. But I'm now thinking, I might do Cassock because I've got that Sergeant miniature. And it would just be only just for Kill Team, which would be cool, you know. But yeah. So I'm not shocked at all at the Lion and his boys being sold out.
No, I'm really not. I'm somewhat. I think everything else is generally in stock on the Warhammer website. Yeah. It by far and away, I think for the 40k was the best box, and it compromised. Like, hey, if I'm going to start an army, that was pretty much the only one.
It really feels like a box for starting an army, doesn't it?
Because the Knights. Was what, 4 models?
Yeah.
For 150 quid. I get they're bigger and all that sort of stuff, but 150 quid, 4 models. Like it just, And the Tau, I guess they'll technically say it's 11 because of all the drones. But it just feel like it's just a bit too much, or you're not getting quite what you want. Whereas that one, you get the Lion, you've got your Inner Circle companions, you get the Chaplain in Terminator armor, and then you get 2 boxes of Knights. Yeah. And you had 2 boxes of the companions as well. Like, that's good. Like, that's you've got a Deathwing army.
What was in, because I can't quite remember, what was in the Deathwing army starter box?
You got 2 sets of normal Terminators.
Yeah.
One.
So 10 Terminators.
Yeah, 10 Terminators. You got 2 upgrade sprues, so you could put the molded
shoulder pads
on them. You got the Deathwing Knights, and then just for fun, as they seem to do in these boxes, throw in a Redemptor Dreadnought as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then you got your Deathwing leader, didn't you?
Oh yes. I can't remember his name now.
No, I can't.
Yeah,
Belial?
Yes, that's
Belial,
the badger.
Yeah.
With his next to his flaming skeleton.
Yeah.
And whatever. Yeah.
But so this isn't a 150 quid, 150 quid whenever you say that when connected to toy soldiers and you go, but you go, I think the saving is about 80 odd pound.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to start a Dark Angels army, you'd want to really have the lion, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And I think like looking at the miniatures again and having an army of them myself, like I really like what they've done with Dark Angels.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with them.
Like of the Primera size versions. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Like I don't have Inner Circle companions. Like I was thinking of getting that box because I don't have the lion.
Yeah.
I could always do with some more knights.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And Terminators, and that's great. I think the only model in there, looking at it off camera as I am, the only model in there that I don't think I'd want again would be the Chaplain.
Yeah, you don't need him twice, really.
No. Because you technically could take them twice,
yeah, you can
right?
take more than one Chaplain, yeah.
But you want another Chaplain or, one on a bike or something, something a bit more varied. But that box was like, I wanted everything in there apart from one miniature. So, that would be on its own sprue, could sell it.
The sad thing is that we're putting this video out, and by the time you'll be watching this video, we'll have had that reveal of whatever Games Workshop is revealing for 40k, Age of Sigmar, Old World.
Oh, yes.
Another release, which is on Friday.
The Atlanta gaming thing.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I think we're going to be seeing, I'll be very surprised if we're not seeing Krieg.
I think there's going to have to be quite a lot of, because 40k has been very dry recently.
You might see Krieg, you might see a little bit of a smattering of Emperor's Children, or you might see a smattering of Space Wolves after that image they put out the other day.
Yes.
Of Beyond the Fell-Handed.
Beyond the Fell-Handed. They were like,
peeking around someone's door.
Yeah, that was it did make me giggle, that. Yeah.
Made me just thought, how strong's the house?
Yes.
For him to come in.
Yeah. Because he's an old box knot, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an old box knot, yeah.
So, if they were gonna Primera size Bjorn,
they'd have to do him enormous.
Would they stick him in a Redemptor?
Well, I think the thing is, this is it now, isn't it? I don't think Games Workshop actively really want to do anything that isn't in the Primaris world now.
Yeah.
They either don't make anything Firstborn, or they don't make anything Firstborn, or they just don't make anything for it now. Like Grey Knights are in that weird sort of. I know they made a character for them not a million years ago, but weirdly he got a bit bigger. He sort of forget. But I don't know what they'll do with him. Is whether Bjorn will get an upgrade. I think they'll have to, because if they made a new Bjorn the Fell-Handed and put him on the table with other Space Wolf Redemptors, it'll look a bit weird.
Yes, because he is quite small, isn't
he? And at the end of the day, is that Bjorn is a basically a pod with the remains of a man in it.
Yeah,
the shell can change.
Yes.
The shell can change, can't it? As long as they keep the claw, give him his claw, you can upgrade it. But I do hope if they do him again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do now that they've shown an image of him, but if they do him again, I think they will really need to make that and hopefully they don't go the way of being a bit average 40k they've done lately. They'll really need to be all singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Shields hanging off the armour.
Yeah.
Pelts hanging off it. Really Space Wolf the life out of him.
If they don't, the Space Wolf 3D bits from Grey Tide Studios already exists.
Yeah, I think
they have a Dreadnought kit.
Yeah, will be a lot of Printer Goes Brewer, I think, if they don't pull their finger out with him.
Yeah.
I've got faith 40k might. I've got faith GW might pull the finger out for the Space Wolves.
Yeah.
I think they might,
it's a big one, isn't it?
They're talking about the fact that they're going to do Grimnar again.
Really?
Yeah, so he's not in his Santa's sleigh this time. He's on foot.
Yeah.
So
because his original model is like charging forwards in Terminator.
And then they put a weird one of him in like a floating thing, which had wolves with it.
Yeah.
I think Grimnar will probably be, because there's some method to me madness for this remark. If you think about Helbrecht. Helbrecht's on quite a big base.
Yeah.
With servitors and a dead Orc.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that you're going to get a dynamic looking Grimnark with a couple of wolves on the base with him.
Okay.
Wouldn't shock me if they do that.
Yeah.
If they try to make him look, very, chapter master models seem to be becoming like the one down from Primaris models, which they should be.
Yeah.
But I think
Primarchs.
Sorry, Primarch models. I think they're like one step down from that. So yeah, I think it'd be quite cool if they, and I wouldn't be surprised that they go to work on Grimnar, make quite a nice looking miniature.
Yeah.
And I think they really, I know we said we hoped they would with Blood Angels and they didn't, but I'm hoping Space Wolves aren't just a sprue, upgrade sprue. I'm hoping they're like the Black Templars. They are a marine box that is just for making Space Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, I really like, because the Black Templars,
there's not enough sprues in the world to try and make Space Wolves look like Space Wolves without getting the 3D printer out.
Yeah, because you have the specific Terminators.
Yeah.
Already, don't you?
Yeah.
You've got who are the Space Marines in like the tactical armor?
Yeah.
But that's an upgrade sprue, with the heads and stuff. I think. Because the black, they did such a good job with Black Templars.
Yeah.
I think they're,
and I think they've been.
wonderful.
I think basically have been chasing that ever since, and have not got back there with the Marines.
No. I think
the closest they got was probably with the Dark Angels.
With the Dark Angels, I was just gonna say,
and even their rank and file didn't get anything to really, other than if you tapped into your upgrade sprue. But I don't know how much you would want to do that for just standard intercessors.
Yeah.
But I think that's about as close as they got.
Yeah.
So I hope when it comes to Space Wolves, they go to town a little bit, because they deserve it, because they are the most, amongst Space Marines, they are the most outlandish looking ones compared to the others. So I hope they do go to work on them a little bit. I think would be cool.
Yeah.
Or,
I've been intrigued to see Krieg in plastic.
Yeah, I do as well. I think how much will they do for them? I think will they just rebox the kill team box, or go, if you want your kill team, if you want your 10 man squads for this, they're in the kill team section. Yeah. Or will they repackage them, or even do a different box? I don't know. And then you go, and how far will they do? Because Krieg have quite a lot of specialists. Krieg engineers are very much a thing. And will they? Hopefully they do, because they were lovely models in when they were Forge World. Is their genetically homebrewed horses. Yeah, because their horses are have been built specially to be quite aggressive, and they fight
6 legs or something. Or
no, they're 4, but they're 4-legged, but they're like the idea.
Something's really messed up about them.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're quite longer on the leg. They're a bit mutated. Well, they're not mutated. They built them like that. So I'd like to see them go back and do the cavalry for them as well. That'd be quite cool. So they've got a lot of units that are, and then what they'll probably do is because they are quite different, or have been when they were Forge Worlds, is their heavy weapons were always on wheels, and they were big disc wheels with just holes drilled in them, which were very First World War. They were very much based on that. So I don't know whether the idea of the metal wheel was to some degree was to stop the mud getting in the spokes of what would have been, and also the weight of the weapon probably had a bearing on it. So hopefully they'll do heavy weapons unique for them. And then again, maybe an upgrade sprue just so that you can change tank commanders to Krieg tank commanders and stuff like that. The tanks don't really need much doing to change them about. I know back in the day in the Forge World range, when there was loads of cool and individual and crazy mad stuff about, the Krieg had their own tanks that were very much their own thing. They even had mini tanks that were that could drive like a bomb, like a tank, but like a really tiny one.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with them. I hope they don't. I hope they don't just pay lip service and just go, them and them and that, and then the rest of it, is what you've already got. But I'd like to see them, if they're going to do Krieg, especially because they have just become more and more popular since Kill Team. Yeah. And then the fact that they must be up there. They must be up there with in the meme and GIF world of 40k. Yeah, they're up. The Krieg must be up there. Yeah. I know that's not a way to judge an army building it on how popular they are as a meme, but I think they're they are, I think, becoming a bit of the poster child for the Imperial Fists, for the Imperial Guard.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
increasingly more people think of them than they do the Cadians, I think, now.
Yes, because Imperial Guard at the minute is just sort of Cadian, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
As in, like, quite a generic sort of, like, I don't know what the best way to describe it is, but, like, you can make your own guard, but it's just sort of like...
Well, to some degree,
the blueprint is Cadian.
Yeah, it's Cadian, yeah. I think, and you know, and I think personally still think that Kachachan, a lot of the Kachachan range of what it is,
they
is
must
okay.
be due.
But their original squad, which is 20-something God years old, I think they'll find their love in Kill Team.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think they'll probably do what they've done with the Krieg with Kachachan at some point in the future. I'm not saying next week, you know, but however long in the future, I think they'll do that thing of going all the weaponry and equipment to be able to field them as the individuals that you need for Kill Team, comms guy, medic, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I think then they'll have enough in there to convert them up to be able to take them as a squad of Kachachan. And I don't think Kachachan need too much more love than that. Maybe they could do with an upgrade sprue again for like tank commanders and things, but I think Kachachan are pretty much, they've got heavy weapons teams which are still looking pretty good. They're getting on a little bit, but they're looking pretty good. So I don't think they need too much, really. Mainly just need rid of that squad because it's god awful now. Bless it. You know, it was fine at the time, but now it's really dated.
Yeah, it is looking dated, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's it. And I think they are doing nice little bits of work with regards to the Imperial Guard because obviously we're getting Rattlins coming in and Kill Team. So, I think they're starting to pave the way for stuff for them. Yeah. For that codex going forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh, I think that's about me done, I think.
Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Cool. Very good.
Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Remember, like, subscribe, notification. And if you are a Patreon, we thank you very much. And if you'd like to become a patron, we'd love to have you. I'll literally help keeping the lights on. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode.
See you in the next one.
See you soon. Bye-bye.